Okay, so we are recording to Zoom. At the same time, we're doing the simulcast on Facebook Live. I'm going to share a screen with anyone that would like to join in on the Zoom meeting. And, you should see on your screen right now the meeting address and the meeting ID, which you will need in order to log on. Also, below there, you can do on your mobile. It shows the different mobile phone numbers that you can use. And if you don't see a number there for you, if you're out of the country, and we know we have people from out of the country, you can look down at the bottom and get
Did the
the
rain
number
stop?
for yourself. Okay. I'm just going to leave that up there for a little bit, for a couple of minutes while we are still preparing and allowing for others to join in.
So we're gonna go to Jake's house.
I'm going to do a test right quick, just a little quick check. I'll be going back and forth between my Zoom and my live. You won't be, I don't think you'll be able to see a difference when I do that, because I'm looking for, my iPad does not show everything that I want it to show. It does show my screens and that type of thing, but it doesn't show any comments. But anyway, while we're waiting again, I'd like to announce that this will be the last Tuesday that I will do a live stream on Facebook. The next live stream on Facebook will be on a Thursday starting next week. And I'm going to stop the share now. And the reason why I'm going to do it the week of, let me try something here. See if I can do this. Okay, yeah, I'm going to share this. The reason why I'm going to do it, so today is the 9th, and this Thursday will be the 11th. I'm not going to do it on the 11th. I'm going to do this is for the Thursday Facebook Live. It's going to be on the 18th, just before we go into the week of Passover. And I'm going to do that is because I'm going to review the Passover on that day for those of you who are new to the Passover and that might want to join into the Passover. And so just very simple things, nothing elaborate, but just some things that you can do at home or in a group if you want to, again, engage with the rest of the world, Israelite and Jewish communities in the keeping of the Passover festival, which is commanded of the children of Israel. Everyone that attaches themselves to the children of Israel, anyone that attaches themselves to the Jewish community, you are actually required to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. There are different debates about this. By the way, there are different debates, and as to whether we should do it in the diaspora or whether we should just only do it in the land. You can do it in the diaspora. There are some, wherever you are, it's good to do it to remember and to remind us that we were in the world system, and our ancestors were in the land of Mitzrayim, and we were delivered out of Mitzrayim by the power of our Father in heaven. It reminds us every year. And it says 3 times a year shall the men of Israel meet at the temple So the temple is destroyed, but we can still honor the feast wherever you are. All right. And it's important. It's very important, because if you're not keeping the feast as ordained through our Father, not through Moses, but through our Father, he commanded Moses, and then Moses did what he's instructed to do. He gave to the children of Israel. We are instructed or commanded 3 times a year to meet. Okay, it's like a family get together. It's a formal family get together. We enjoy a meal together. We remember we unleavened bread, and we have the meal. Okay, the bitter herbs. We discuss and we talk about, and we are taught, and we read. We're supposed to read, actually, the Passover story, the deliverance. So it's important. It's very important. Uh, these are not just religious things. They have nothing to do with religion. It has something to do with obeying the commandments as set forth to us in our covenant or contract agreement. Many people don't understand that. It's not a religion. We're not in a religion, though there are religious aspects. We're not a religion. Okay, we're not a religion. And I just want you to understand that, know and understand that we are not, in essence, a religion as as people would think that we are. Okay, we are a family, and it has nothing to do with the color of our skin. It has nothing to do with our nationality or race or gender. It has something to do with the covenant, entering into covenant with our Father. Just as he made the covenant with Abraham Avinu of blessed memory, he made it with all of us, and he said he'd be a blessing to all nations, okay, and all peoples. So anybody and everyone can come in, but when you come in, there can be only one teaching, right? And this is what we're dealing with now. There can be one teaching, only one teaching, and that is the Torah. Okay, that's Torah. We live by the Torah, all right? We may have our little family disputes about who's a Jew and who's an Israelite, and all. We can have those little family disputes. That's fine. That's okay. But when it comes down to it, when we come together for the meal, there's one teaching, and we all must sit under that one teaching, all right? When we leave there, you want to go to your different places and worship the way you have your community set up, and you have your halachic duties set. That's fine. But when we come together 3 times a year, when we come together, there's one teaching, right? One teaching, okay. And so that's what we're dealing with. And so tonight, just again now last week, I believe, at Shabbat, because it was Shabbat just before Pesach, I did Pesach actually. It was for Rosh Chodesh. I did Pesach, and we kind of discussed a little bit about, or I talked a little bit about unleavened bread, and I encouraged those that were there, and if you listen to that teaching, that start now, start preparing now. I look, I like to have bread sometimes, toast and stuff like that. Well, I'm gonna have to go to a different kind of toast, go unleavened bread in that time. So that's what where we are now. This is a season. It's not one day. It's 8 days, and then we go from there. We start counting the Omer. We'll cover that on Thursday. The counting of the Omer on Thursday. Tonight it's going to be light, and it's going to be preferably it's going to be light, and we'll move on through now. Having said that, this Shabbat is the parashah is Tazria, and it deals with, I say it deals with the quarantining and that kind of thing, and the giving of birth for the woman. We might touch on that if we have time, just a little bit, but on Shabbat, if you tune in on Shabbat, 11 o'clock, Easter Keeping It Real, we're going to discuss that there, because there's some questions I know people have about the 2 weeks. Well, twice as much time for the female as it is for the male. And you want to And it's very interesting when you get into it. It's pretty interesting. And it comes down to common sense. For me, it comes down to common sense, right? Torah is telling you something that's common, that, it's, we'll get into it. I'll let the sages teach you. How about that? That'll be better. All right. So again, welcome everyone, wherever you are in the world. If you're in Houston, we're here. And this is, as I said, I did post the number to get in. I wasn't able to put it in the chat area that like I wanted to, because it's not showing up. So I left it up for a while. And and I'll check back and forth on my Facebook, which is what I'm going to do right now, to see if I have any comments there. And I don't see any. So I'll come back here. And again, welcome you all to another evening of Torah teaching or sharing. So tonight I'm sharing my screen from Sefaria.org, the Mishna Torah. We've been studying Mishna Torah last week. I was looking at the customs of the nations and things that we're not to do, follow their customs. But tonight, again, I switched it. It's leavened and unleavened bread. Okay. And the parashah last week is actually it's a more in-depth portion of the parashah from last week. And this will kind of give you a little bit of insight into some of the things that we look at in the advanced class. We have the basics of the Bible, but then we have to get into more intricacies of some of the things that were not really explained in the Torah. So I'm going to start off with chapter 1 in the teachings from the Mishna Torah. Okay, this is not the Mishnah, that body of work called the Mishnah. This is the Mishna Torah, which is given to us through Rambam of blessed memory, and the Rambam, Moses ben Memonez. I just say Rambam because I get a tongue twister going. So anyway, it says, anyone who intentionally eats an olive sides of Hamas on Pesach, and that's when we're talking about living, right? We're talking about yeast products, right? And now keep in mind, we're looking at the mindset, okay, a mindset of people back in the first century, before Mashiach was placed on the state, put it that way. That's where these teachings come from Ezra's time, right? So they're looking at, if you look at, imagine in your mind what the size of an olive looks like. I mean, look at the biggest olive you can think of and think about that. Now they're saying that if you intentionally, again, it's with intent. You know that it's Passover, you know that it's, we're in that season, okay? And you do it anyway. That's what this is talking about. You intentionally do it. He says, on Pesach, from the beginning it says on Pesach, right? It says, from the beginning of the night of the 15th of Nisan, okay? That's the first month for us, until the conclusion of the day, the 21st day. So it's the whole week. So they're covering the whole week, right? Now, understand there's always what? Grace and mercy, right? And if you, during that week, that's a whole week. Now, remember, you grew up in the diaspora, most of us that I'm talking to, and did not grow up in the culture of Hebraics or Judaism. You didn't grow up in that. So you grew up eating what you want You grew up, many of us, most of us, I would say most of us grew up, didn't even give it a thought. We thought about Easter. But now, forget about Easter. Put Easter in the trash can and pick up Pesach, okay? Because now you're an Israelite. And whether you know it or not, okay, this is going to kind of mess a few of you people up. Whether you know it or not, when you attach yourself to Israel, right, you're a Jew. All right. I don't care if you call you Christian or not. If you pick it up and you say you've accepted the teachings of the Bible, you become a Jew, or it is, a Jew. I just said you become a Jew, right? And you're bound by the Torah. I don't care what anybody tells you. Just go back and read. As you go through the Torah, you'll find out it says there's one teaching, right? That means that we keep the Shabbat, we keep the feast, right? So this week, this 1 week, right? All of you Jews out there, all right? You thought you were a Christian because somebody told you a Christian. You're not a Christian. You're a Jew, all right? And 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 you're actually bound to keep the Torah, and because you're listening to this teaching tonight, and after you've heard this teaching, and you still do it, then you've intentionally, right, broken the covenant. Okay, so now you're responsible when I'm teaching this, and there was a time when I didn't want to teach a lot of things because I didn't want to put people under. But guess what happens? Then I get punished for not teaching you what I know, and I'm tired of getting punished for not teaching people. So I'm going to teach you exactly what it says, and not just from me, but from the sages, as it's passed down now over 2,000 years. Okay. So you're not Christian, you're a Jew. All right. Just accept the fact that you're a Jew. You've accepted Torah. You say you accepted Yeshua, Yahushua, or JC as your Messiah. Guess what? He's Jew. And he wasn't taking people to a Gentile religion. He was bringing you into a covenant contract agreement. That's what he was doing. So now we learned in Purim that everyone that attached themselves to the children of Israel were called what? Jews. So now you're a Jew. Don't get offended. It's just a fact. So instead of don't get offended, embrace it. Embrace who you are now and live the life so that you can see the changes in your family, in your community, and in the nation. So this is sometimes it's a hard thing to swallow because you say, well, they got too many rules. You check it out. Just don't worry about the rules. You just get into it and start obeying the covenant, and you see, and do it for give it 90 days of obeying the covenant, doing what it says, and you'll find out that it's freedom. There's more freedom, in this contract agreement that you really understood. Okay, so it says from Pesach. All right, so it says from the beginning of the night of the 15th. So that's the 14th, and when it goes, sun goes down, that's the 15th, right? It says of Nisan until the conclusion of the day of the 21st of Nisan is liable, right? Well, it says correct. That means being cut out, but we're not going to go all that far. Okay, you're going to be guilty. Your spirit is going to convict you, and you're going to wish you had done it. Okay, let's put it that way. Okay, intentionally doing it, there's punishment for it. There's cause and there's effect. There's cause and there's effect. Because I'm teaching you and you reject it, there's going to be effect that follows it. Okay, that's how it goes. Okay, and if I reject somebody's teaching and they're teaching me out of Torah, I reject it. There's a cause, and then there's going to be effect because I reject it. I'm not exempt. Okay, it says, so it states, whoever eats leaven will have his soul cut off. Again, we're not going to go that far. And you know that in the garden, it said if you partake of that tree of good and evil, you're going to die. You know what? Think of it that way. All right, think of it in that way. What you're doing is aborting your life. That's what you're doing. Your spiritual walk, first of all, is going to be aborted. Then ask for then, there's two deaths, right? The second death, because you continue in it. Now you can make a mistake and straighten out, but if you continue in that and say, oh, it doesn't matter, I can do it, then you suffer correct because you've entered into contract agreement. Okay. And then of course you broke the contract agreement, and there are curses that go along with the breaking of the contract agreement. Right. And we already know that because we're here all over the world, we're dispersed. So that's to let you know that the contract agreement is real. That's what that does. That's the reality of the facts. So you'll be cut off, right? Again, that's a heavenly decree. That's from the heavenly courts. And it's just like, again, remember the garden. Principles laid down in the garden. Want to say you shall not die, right? But the word says you will die. Okay. So think of the principles that's laid down. Again, important to understand the principles that are laid down through the Torah, because they're applicable in situations when you get there. Okay. It explains it. Okay. It says, should one eat this amount of chametz and unintentionally, one is liable to bring a fixed sin offering as atonement. Again, the only place that we do those things or did those were at the temple. So you know that is not for today, right? But, however, when you realize, right, that you've taken some chametz or yeast bread, teshuvah, turn, change your direction, say, I made a mistake, admit it, and then just go on from there. That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. Confess it, I messed up, and then get back in line. That's it. Unintentional though. Okay. Even if it's intentional, you say, oh man, I know that's cause and effect, and I'm gonna try to stem this thing as much as I can. I'm not gonna do it again. Either way, teshuvah, turn, change your direction. All right. Get in line. All right, get in line. There's cause and effect. But you can, you can put that thing off, and either eliminate it with, possibly, Day of Atonement is coming too. So Day of Atonement, Father forgives, all of us that come. Day of Atonement, that many of you don't know about it. And if you know about it, you're not keeping it. Understand that Day of Atonement will help you out. Okay, remember that. Atonement, at 1 minute, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, says the above applies equal to one who eats chametz and one who converts it into liquid and drinks it. Here's a go. I hadn't thought about this for a while, but beer and many things we drink have yeast in it. Okay, yeast in it. So what does that mean? That means I need to check it. Make sure it doesn't have any yeast in it, at least for that week. It's only a week. I mean, it's only a week.
There are many food items that people eat, not we, but people eat that have yeast in it. Pasta.
Pasta's got yeast in it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm glad I live with you. Because I don't have to, because look who got me on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are other products that rise as you add water that people don't know about, are not aware of.
Yeah. So if you don't know about it, again, there's what? That's a learning experience for you. You did it, you didn't know it. But once you know it and you do it anyway, then, there's cause and effect. Right? You better be ready for the Day of Atonement is what I'm saying. You better get yourself together for the Day of Atonement. Get that stuff wiped out. All right. A lot of people don't know. Again, a lot of people don't know about Day of Atonement. A lot of people think it was for a certain time. That's forever. Scripture says it's for every generation. All of us. So if you're making mistakes, the yoke is easy and the burden is light. Repentance, confess your faults, right? Get up and turn around and go in the right direction, and learn. Little classes like this, it's not deep stuff. This is very light stuff. You can learn this and you can do this, right? It's I bet you, if you just try it, just give it a try. Just give it a try. You get your however you want to do it. it's so many ways you can keep Passover and keep the meal and stuff. It's many days, but as long as you have the right ingredients in it, as it says in the scripture, you'll be fine. But today we're talking about what? Hamas, or living and unleavened bread. That's what we're talking about tonight. I don't want to get too far into other things. I want to keep it light, keep it simple, and then move forward. So it says on Pesach, okay, not Easter, but on Pesach, because that day passed. So I'm not even supposed to mention. See, I'm not even supposed to mention the name of that other day. It's not even supposed to be in why? Because when I do that, it triggers a thought in people's minds, right? So we need to eliminate that, or as it said, nip it in the bud. Don't even mention it. It's like the naming the other gods and saying we're not supposed to mention it. Why? Because it triggers. Okay, it triggers something. All right, it's a trigger and it's a gateway, and so we are not supposed to mention those things, but not so. So I apologize for doing that, for saying that. I shouldn't have done that, and you all have the right to tell me, Rob, you said that again. You need to cut it out. You can do that, right? And keep me on my toes. That's because we are our brother's keeper. We are responsible for each other, right? And you know, we are. I'm a brother just like you are. I'm a brother just like you are. I'm a child just like you are. I'm learning every day. Every day I learn something I did not know. And I thought I knew it, and I found out I really didn't know it. I didn't know it. Okay. So on Pesach, it is forbidden to derive any benefit from Hamas. Now, this is going to be a correction, right? This is going to be a correction. Okay. On Pesach, it is forbidden to derive any benefit from Hamas, as Exodus 13:3 states. Do not eat. Okay. Do not eat Hamas. Yeast. Do not eat yeast products. It says it is not permitted to be used, derive any benefit that leads to eating. You're eating. You say a person who leaves Hamas within. Here we go. And see, this is touchy. This is very touchy. All right. Some people are very stringent in this. Some people are lenient. I've been very lenient because of our situations, but each year you should get better and better at doing this. Your first time doing it, we're lenient. But as time goes on, now 3 years from now, we check out, we be talking about it and you're still doing that. We'll know because you're gonna give it away anyway, right? I mean, that's, just admit it and then move on, right? Get better at it. So it says a person who leaves Hamas within his property on Pesach, that is if you know it's there. If you know it's there, if it's your, now again, key is your property. If you're living with somebody else that doesn't do it, it's not your responsibility, and don't try to make them do because you know. Okay? You're visiting your relatives, they got it in there. Hey, that's what they do. You just tell them, look, you just look, you're living that way, or you're visiting, and it's a time and it's during that time, and you just look, you can't control what's in somebody else's house because you're not paying their bills. You're not taking care, it's their house. So a person who lives somewhere within his property on Pesach, even though he does not eat it, listen at that, even though he does not eat it, transgresses 2 prohibitions. Okay. 13:7 of Exodus states, no leavening agent may be seen in all your territory. Now, of course, this was in Israel, right? But how do we apply that here? On your property, your fence line, within your fence line, right? If you're in an apartment, when you walk into your door, when that front porch is yours, that's your property, right? So a person who leaves Hamas within his property on Pesach, even though he does not eat it, transgresses 2 prohibitions, Exodus 13:7. No living agent may be seen in all your territory, and Exodus 12:19 states, no leavening agent may be found in your home. So that's why I said, as I said last week, start now. Don't wait till at noon on the 14th.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna do it. You're gonna look around and so what do I? Well, Rabbi, I got all this stuff in here, and I buy by the loaves. I said, I say this. I don't know what you're gonna do with it, but I say what the scripture says. You need, some people let other relatives keep it. Some people take it to other locations,
Right.
And let it stay there, remain in that location until after, because it's off your property.
Right.
So you have an unbeliever, if you want to, you can hey, look, I'm keeping Passover. I can't have this in my house. Well, you keep this for me. Box it up. And some of you want to put it in a cold spot because it's going to go bad.
Right.
You got bread, you may well just throw it to the birds. Because if it's good bread, a couple of days, it's gone. You'll be growing a garden on that. So that's why I said earlier, start early, preparing yourself for unleavened bread. I mean, just, if you're going to eat some bread, I know you're going to eat bread, keep you one loaf, eat that for that week. I started last week, so that's 2 weeks. That gives you 2 weeks to eat a loaf of bread. You're going to eat a loaf of bread in less than a week, I know that. So at least you eat that bread, then you go get you one more loaf, But then you got to look in your shelves. You got to find your yeast on your shelves. If you're a baker, if you like to bake bread, bake cakes and stuff that take yeast, you got to move that yeast out.
Right. And you have some seasonings. So you need to start a week ahead, more than a week, because you got to check those cans to see what products have yeast in them. Many seasonings have yeast in them.
Yeah.
So you need at least more than a week.
Yeah. So again, and people that are not keeping Passover. People. We all we know people. You got relatives that don't keep Passover. They'll keep it for you. Friends. They'll oh yeah, okay. They understand. Just let them know ahead of time. Look, I'm doing this, and can I keep this over here? Box that stuff up. Get it out of there. And later on, and during the week, if you find it, then take it over there. Then, say, look, I forgot this. I got to take this over there. There's a remedy for it, right? It's So, but the main thing is obeying. It says no leavening agent may be seen in your territory. Get it out. Some people would take it and lock it in a cabinet and stuff like that. I used to do that. Put it in a cabinet and then pronounce that I won't get any benefit from it. But that's trying to walk the line on Torah. That's why we got 613 commandments. That's why I wound up it was only 10. Now I wind up, why is it 613? Because of this reason. I'm gonna sell it to so and so. Just tell them to keep it for you. You ain't gotta sell it. It's not in your territory. Give it to them, let them keep it over there. Don't skirt the line. Because you're not fooling the Father. I'm telling you now. And you wonder why, why all these things? Because you're trying to skirt the line and he's not, he's not like you. He knows, right? So, if you're serious about this walk, if you're serious about it, then go ahead, come on, let's get on board with it. Okay, let's just do it. Let's just, again, there's cause and there is effect. We've done all these things all these years and nothing has changed. All these years and nothing has changed. And there's a reason for it. It's called cause and effect. It's because you're living outside the contract agreement, expecting to get the increases from the contract agreement, and it doesn't work. Not for the children of Israel, right? Not for those who've declared themselves to be Jews and then still going to try to script. It's not going to work for you. Because once you accept the contract agreement and you enter it, and it's an eternal contract, it's an everlasting, eternal contract. When you enter into it, you're in it. If you get out of it, if you break it, then you're going to be punished for it in the door, or you are going to open up a breach in your spiritual life and your physical life. And it's going to attack not just you, but you and your household. Understand that. It's going to attack you and your household are fair target. They're fair game. Everything that you have is fair game in this contract agreement when you break it. If you don't believe me, see how many Israelites, how many Jews stayed in the land after. I mean, truly that were Israelites, truly that were Jews that were able to stay in the land and find and see how many were, when they're scared running for their lives, of fear and in fear and check it out. It's that contract agreement, that covenant, man. You read that Deuteronomy chapter 28, and that's not the only one, but you read that thing and it's real. This thing is real, okay? So just, no leaving agent may be found in your homes. It says, though the prohibition state in these verses apply to shiur, it is the same prohibition which forbids both chametz and shiur and living agents. That's what a quote is saying, the living agents, the different spices and things that have, and for those who like to drink a little beer, sorry, for that week, that week you're gonna have to lose the flavor for that beer. And I'm gonna go and get some of that Odoo. You better check and make sure it's got no yeast in it, because it got the yeast. That means they'll have the alcohol. But in the yeast, if it's gonna be beer, I think there's gonna be a little yeast in there. Okay, so don't drink the beer. All right. Now, I don't like to read this because it doesn't apply. We don't do this. All right. Punitive, we don't do this. And and this is the mindset. Remember, this is the mindset of a people, First Temple time. This is not modern. It's not modern. This is why in every generation we are to go through the different commandments, and we're supposed to adapt them to where we are, as long as we don't go break the principle of the commandment, all right, or what the Torah says. So it says a violator is not lashed for a transgression, the prohibition not to have chametz seen in his possession, and not to have chametz found in his possession, unless he purchased chametz on Pesach. So again, if you make a mistake, it says, I was talking about the lashing, getting the lashes. We don't do the lashes, okay? We don't do that kind of stuff. That's out of our date, and for good reason, because we didn't grow up that way. We didn't grow up as children that way, and we didn't. And once we come in, and it's a different day and a different time, right? And it's like having people ratting you out, so they can see you get lashes, and we don't do that. Okay, that's So it says unless he purchases on Pesach. Again, I think last week I said, during Pesach one time, I went and bought me a hamburger with great chow down on that baby. I brought Hamas, because that bread is what? Yeast in it, yeah. So they would have lashed me real good. I'd have got good lashes on it. They got 40 save one. They got me on that. Probably about 5 lashes, I don't know. But it says, or caused flour to become living, and thus committed a deed. So when you're making your Pesach, when you're making your Pesach, your unleavened bread, remember we said don't let it sit. Some say in some communities 18 minutes. Don't let it sit for 18 minutes because for fear that it might rise. I say just go ahead and finish it. You start it, finish it. All right, start it and finish it. And also, I think I let you know that you read the label and it says good for Pesach, meaning that they made sure that there was no liquid, no liquid introduced to that, that flour, and there's 5 of them, right? I'm not gonna get into that till Thursday. I'll get into that Thursday, the different, species of what we can, you make it, you're living out of, but make sure it doesn't get wet. All right. That's what they mean. And it says, however, if he possessed Hamas before Pesach, and when Pesach came, he did not destroy it and left it in his possession, even though he transgresses 2 prohibitions according to the Torah, he is not lashed. So I like that. He's not lashed, right? Okay, for he did not perform a deed, and nevertheless he is given a stripe for rebellion. So he gonna get something. They're gonna get something out of you. But again, never fear, no fear. We don't do that. All right, we don't do that. It could be, again, you have to look at the mindset, and you know, some of it was very challenging. I'll put it that way. And I think a lot of things that were done under permissive will instead of divine or perfect will. And a lot of this is why you'll get arguments as to that there was no mercy, you know, or it was too tough, or all those kinds of things, using that against, it became a mark against our community, because they don't understand, people outside the community don't really understand how things work in our community, and that lashes and those things. Again, in those days, another time, right? It is prohibited to ever benefit from Hamas. Okay. It said the Israelite, it is prohibited to ever benefit from Hamas possessed during Pesach. I don't know why they put that a Jew is in. I don't know why they put that in. It says, this prohibition is penalty instituted by the sages. See this? Here you go. Remember I said we're looking at the mindset of that generation that said this prohibition is a penalty instituted by the sages. All right. Again, that's why I said permissive will, right, versus divine will. They did it. Okay. He says, since the person transgressed the prohibitions against command being found and being seen in his possession, they prohibited its use. The above applies even if he inadvertently left the Hamas in his possession during Pesach or was forced to do so. These stringencies were instituted lest a person leave Hamas in his possession during Pesach in order to benefit from it after Pesach. So that's what we see happening today. People are putting in cabinets so that after Pesach they can go back and get it. All right. That's what we see today because of the leniency and because we've changed. That's why people are doing it today. But in fact, we should strive and we should work diligently to obey the commandment. And then there's cause and effect. All right. There's cause and effect. And so you'll see many of the Israelite community, many of us, we're getting the same things that are happening to the world because we're breaking it, intentionally breaking it and trying to skirt. And so we wonder why there's no difference between us and the world. It's because we're doing what they do on the sly. We're throwing rocks and hiding our hand. We're doing the same thing. And there's, again, I'm going to say it again, cause and effect. When you know to do good and doeth it not, to him it is a sin, right? If you know the right thing to do and you persist in doing the wrong thing, it's your sin, okay? Cause and effect. Cause and effect. Cause you did it, you know, there's a price to be paid for it. Intentional. I'm talking intent. You do it with intent, right? With intent. It's just like murder and killing. Murder is with intent. Killing is an accident. We call that manslaughter often. But with intent, it must be proven that your intention was to do this. Okay. So if you put it in a shelf and you said, I'm not going to derive any benefit from it during Pesach, that's your intent. You're saying it with your mouth. I'm not going to get any benefit till after Pesach. It says here, get it out. Find some place it's something to do with it. Again, we started 2 weeks ago. Some people started as early as early in when actually that's when I taught about it. Is because it was Rosh Chodesh, beginning of the month, the Pesach month. So I said, it's start now, right? Because on the 10th day, you're gonna start getting your lamb ready, right? You start getting your stuff together. So on the first day, that gives you a whole 10 days there. And then you got the you go up 4 more days, that's 14 days, that's half a month. Half a month you got to get ready. Because at noon on the 14th, you're gonna do it. So you started at Rosh Chodesh, and we did it already before Rosh Chodesh, so that gives you at least 20 days, get this thing together. So you have time. Don't wait till the last minute. Okay, let's get it done. Let's get these curses out of our household. See, this is the beginning of the season. This is the beginning of our holy season. This is we're reflection. We're starting reflecting, and we start doing it. This is and there's a reason, and it's in the book of Leviticus. So that's telling us the book of holiness. It's telling us how to walk and live a holy life, and it's giving us instruction on what to do, and we're prepared. When you're doing, do you really want me to tell you something about this unleavened bread? You know what this is? It's a fast. We don't call it a fast, but it's a fast. Why? Because people love bread, and you're putting away something that you really love to eat. That bread. Got bread for everything. You sit down at a meal and there's bread in the table. That's bread. You go to the restaurant, they bring you bread out. It's bread. So this week is a fast. And if you take advantage of it, you won't be so stuck with the bread. After that, you'll be like, I can have it or I can leave it. Take it or leave it. I don't have to have all that bread, all that starch. You don't have to have it. You don't. So, but it's good. I like bread. I like pita bread. I like bread. I like, so it's a fast. It's a type of, it's really a type of a fast when you really think about it. So it says, if Pesach, if on Pesach, even the slightest amount of Hamas becomes mixed together with another substance, either of its kind or not of its kind, the entire mixture is forbidden. So you got to be careful on the mixtures, right? So the thing again, move it out, right? Move it out. It's forbidden to benefit from Hamas possessed on Pesach. Again, get it out. You won't have to worry about it. All right, let me go down a little further. It says, okay, I'm not going to do that one. It says even, at verse 7, it says even, even the slightest amount of Hamas itself on Pesach is forbidden by the Torah. We already established that. Get rid of it, get it out, okay? It says, verse 8, it is forbidden to eat Hamas on the day of the 14th. Listen at this. Start on the 1st, start early in the month, right? At the beginning, it says, because it is forbidden to eat Hamas on the day of the 14th from noon on. And of course, this is this is from the sages, right? This is from the sages, but it's a good principle.
Right.
Okay, it's a good thing to do because you're getting it out, right? It says from the beginning of the 7th hour of the day. Well, that's just 1 o'clock. Okay. Any person who eats Hamas during this time is punished by lashes according to the law. According to Torah law, we don't do that. That just anytime it says lashes, stripes, we just we're not doing that. We're not in the land. We're not, this is a whole different thing. It says, as Deuteronomy 16:3 says, do not eat any leaven within it, together with paschal sacrifice. Wait a minute. They're trying to pull something on us. They're trying to pull, wait a minute, you gotta check a brother out. It says, you should not eat anything leavened with it for 7 days thereafter. You shall eat unleavened bread, bread of distress, for you departed from the land of Egypt hurriedly, so that you may remember the day of your departure from the land of Egypt, as long as you live. For 7 days, no living shall be. Hey, it didn't say anything about no lashes. It didn't say anything about lashes. See, this is why this kind of thing we do in our advanced classes. We go back and see what it says, then we find out, is that really what it said? Now, I didn't see, let me go back and read that. It says, it is forbidden to eat Hamas on the day of the 14th of Nisan from noon onward, from the beginning of the 7th hour of the day. That's good. Any person who eats Hamas during this period is punished by lashes according to the Torah law. And then I read it. It says, as Deuteronomy 16:3 says, this is Deuteronomy 16:3. Uh-oh. Let me go back over. And 3 right here. Uh-oh, I'm messing up. My goodness, I'm getting carried away here. It said, you shall not anything leaven with it for 7 days thereafter. You shall eat unleavened bread, bread of distress. For you departed from the land of Egypt early, so that you may remember the day of your departure from the land of Egypt as long as you live. Then the fourth verse says, for 7 days no living shall be found within all your territory, and none of the flesh of what you slaughter on the evening of the first day shall be left. You see, you see, we said we don't do that. I didn't see. Now, if you find it, let me know where it is. All right, because we go by Torah, right? We don't, if you add something to it, lashes, that's because you got these little police going around ratting people out. That's not what it's about. This is the honor society. It's when you accept the yoke of Torah on you, your spirit becomes a living soul. You become a living soul. The anointing flows through you. And so you are convicted when you break the commandment or the law. That's your lashes. And those are your stripes. Okay. See, this is a physical thing. When we're talking about a spiritual concept, this is a spiritual concept that they put flesh involved in it. All right. So you have to be very careful. Again, this is why we go back, we read it, and we analyze it, and we say, okay, this is for our community. That's your community. This is our community. This is what it says to our community. Nobody's going to get beaten because they've already done the cause and effect. The heavenly court is going to deal with them. This is a spiritual implication. This is a covenant thing, and the punishment comes from heaven. That's why they call it correct. It comes from heaven. That's where it comes from. This beating on stripes. What they're trying to do is, I guess, eliminate the punishment from in the future, the second death. You know what? You ain't doing nothing. All you're doing is inflicting pain. You're not changing their heart. You're ruling by terror. That's not the way it works. Okay, that's not the way it works. All right. There's it says it's 8 o'clock. That's what it says. Right. Sorry, y'all. I'm running out of time. It says this. It says, verse 9: the sages forbade the eating of Hamas from the beginning of the 6th hour in order to prevent infringement upon a Torah commandment. Thus, from the beginning of the 6th hour, it is forbidden to eat or benefit from Hamas based on rabbinic. Again, if it's rabbinic, if it goes against Torah, you're not bound by it. Anything, if it's a rabbinic law, if the sages do it and the Torah doesn't say it, you're not bound by it. So you're bound by what they say, all right? So this is how we do it, okay? If the Torah says one thing and you say something else, we're going with Torah, because that's the contract agreement, all right? It says it is forbidden to eat or benefit from Hamas based on rabbinic law during the rest of the day from the 7th hour until eating Hamas is forbidden because of Torah law. Again, now it says from Torah law, see? So we go with the Torah, all right? We're going to go with the Torah. It says, for 7 days, no living shall be found with you in all your territory. None of the flesh of what you slaughter on the evening of the first day shall be left until the morning. You are not permitted to slaughter the Passover sacrifice and any settlement that your Elohim is giving you. You are not permitted to slaughter the Passover sacrifice in any of the settlement. The only place that you can do the slaughter for the Passover is where? The place.
Israel.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why a lot of people say you can't do Passover outside the land. But, you know, we're not slaughtering any lambs, you know, and, what we're doing is commemorating our freedom from Mitzrayim. All right. Outside of the land of Torah, we're not to do any sacrifices anyway. Only at Jerusalem at the temple. That's the only place it was permitted to do those. Now you can slaughter and eat at home, but it's not a sacrifice. You fixing and preparing your food so you can eat, so you can live. And if you go by the perfect law, then you're going to eat what vegetables and things of that nature. You're not going to be killing them anyway because you're going to be eating. You're a vegetarian or you're a vegan. If you really, going to do by the perfect law, you're going to do it that way. But we're permitted to eat by permissive will. We're permitted to eat meat because that's what they lust after. People lust after. You don't believe me? Go over and watch them. They lust after that meat, that blood. They like that blood butter down there. They lust after that stuff. So but that's permitted. He say go. Yeah, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna try to do it. You're gonna try to skirt the law and do it. You're gonna do it. And go. And what happens is you shorten your lifespan. You say, well, how did Abraham live so long? How did they live a different lifestyle than we do? They lived a different lifestyle. I'm not saying they were vegans, but I'm saying they lived a different lifestyle. So it says, during the 5th hour of the day, we do not eat Hamas, lest the day be cloudy, and we err between the 5th and 6th hour. Now, again, it all goes back to the same thing. We're going to, at the beginning of the month, I'm going to stop down here. At the beginning of the month, we've already started. If today, I'm going to stop this share, and I'm going to go back to the calendar again. And this is for the benefit of people on Facebook, because in our advanced class, we've already been through this. So last week on Shabbat, which was Shemoneh, I did Exodus 12, 1 through 20, which is dealing with this, okay, the Passover. So today is the 9th, and you have all the way until the 22nd, which is the 14th of Nisan, at noon. But I say get it all out now, right? So at noon, and you're doing your last pass through the house, say at noon, that's your last pass, it's already gone, right? But you go through and you look around. And this is where you get your children involved and get them a little something to sweep it, and you leave some intentionally there for them so they can find it. And then you give them a little treat for finding the Hamas, get them involved in the Passover, the Passover festival, get them involved and little gifts and things like that for the children. But for the adults, we understand that we're getting it out, and it's a biblical commandment. It's a part of our covenant, and we're going to do this for this at evening, and then Hamas is out. No more yeast product, no beer, no, yeast, no, all the things that Emma, Alyssa said, all that stuff, the foods and things. Make sure you get it out. If you have neighbors and friends that do not keep Passover, ask them to keep it for you. Don't try to put it in a cupboard,
And
but
you
if you don't have
cannot
it,
leave it in your car. That's your property. You cannot leave it in the garage. That's your property.
yeah,
So, and then the treat that you talked about is guilt. You give them a little, maybe chocolate, maybe something else for
yeah,
finding some leftover Hamas. That's for the children.
yeah. So that's for finding it, not for eating it now. That's for finding it. Then we give them the guilt, which it's like candy money. It's chocolate money. It's shaped like, a 50-cent piece or whatever, quarter. And they get, they like, most children like candy anyway. So they get a treat for it. That's a good thing. But anyway, that's, the way it works. So this month begins our part of, this is the best part of the year for me. when we start Pesach, this starts because, and that's why I'm going back to our advanced classes on Tuesday, and then do the Facebook on Thursday, because that Tuesday night it's our night. It's our advanced night. It's not a big class. We don't want a big class. We want to keep it small because all the people that are in the class are teachers. And I'm going to stop the share now. Oh, you see this pic? This is from the Israelite Board of Rabbis. This is from the Israelite community. This is our calendar. This is what I follow. I recommend that if you're in the Israelite community, for unity's sake, let's all do the same calendar. It's there. These brothers they work on this thing, and it's unified, all across the world. This is our calendar, our people. We're Israelites. And and we're Yehudim or Jews if you want, okay? But we all come under Israelite, and some of us say we're Jews, some say Israelite, but we all come under the banner of, as it says, Israelite Board of Rabbis, okay? And these brothers are steeped in the word, and that's where we get our Beit Din from. And it's I look forward to this calendar every year, and because it's ours. All right, so we have covered quite a bit, and I want to thank everyone for being here. Emma Beverly is on. She's an astute teacher here, and her husband, Griffin, he's on. He's a powerful teacher. Now he's fresh legs. Okay, those are fresh legs. The Griffin, I call them fresh legs. But I get tired, my knees get weak. I get to sit down, and they can keep on going. So anyway, yeah, we have our next week on Tuesday will be our advanced class. As normal, there will be no Facebook Live. It'll be Facebook Live on Thursday next week. Okay, Thursday next week, Facebook Live. Only Facebook Live. That won't be it won't be a Zoom, just strictly Facebook Live. But Tuesday, we'll have our Zoom advanced class only. And by the way, I've been looking at some stuff for our class that I'm going to add with it, and that I'm studying right now. And it is strictly for the advanced class. Okay, strictly for the advanced class. And there's you're gonna have a lot of questions on this one because it's very interesting. And I'm trying to find it now if I can. I can't do it there. I don't know where it is. Well, here we go again. I can't find it. Maybe I don't have it opened up. But, oh yeah, there it is. It's with the calendar. I had it up already. This, you see this got the alphabet. Oh, let me go ahead and, you know what, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to shut down the,
Yeah,
let me
you need to do that.
stop. Huh?
You
All
need
right.
to do that.
Yeah, let me stop there because this is for the advanced people. I don't want to get people messed up here because this stuff will blow your mind if you're not up to the stuff. All right, the live stream is off. It's just us. Now let me go back to this share that I had because I don't want them get folks be all messed up. This stuff we be doing. Okay, so this is from a book I'm reading right now from about Anunnaki Chronicles. Okay, and this is a supplement from it. And you get into alphabet, but then it goes on. I mean, we're gonna start getting into the. I may not get into it right away because I still have some more research to do. But this is dealing with the book of Enoch. This deals with the book of Enoch. All right, a more in-depth study of Enoch, and it's from Mesopotamian tablets. Right. This is another Jewish brother. And so I kind of, I give him more leeway because we we're studying the same things. But anyway, this is going to be very interesting. And it deals with, like I said, it covers the book of Enoch, and it gets, it brings it closer to understand, more understanding. And I really enjoyed it so far. There's another one, Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Again, that's Enoch. Some say it's Enoch, some, so, but it deals with the book of Enoch and deals with the book of Yasher. All those that we're looking at in the Sefer, it deals with that. Okay, and from the Mesopotamian tablets. Okay, which over there where Nimrod was, and where the establishment were in older communities, all the writings and stuff were there, and then also you had it set up in Kemet, afterwards. Okay, so it's interesting. So we're going to get back to ours. There's a lot to go, and then we have I set the PDF on the Gospel of the Holy 12. So these are the things we're going to be diagnosing, looking at, pulling out, and the only problem I have with the Gospel of the Holy 12 is I have not got a hold of I need to get the Aramaic version of it. I haven't been able to get it yet, so I have to keep pushing and pushing for it so I can get it.
Can you send that out again? I was looking for it. I got through the first 2 chapters and I went to something else and I tried to pull it up again before the meeting and it's not available. The link is not available.
Oh, that's okay. I got it. So, and then I got the other one that goes along with it. It's another one book that goes with it. This is the Jewish book. This is the Jewish guy, the same one with the Anunnaki. But anyway, and it explains a lot of things in there. But again, we analyze. We don't follow everything. We don't just take it at face value. We analyze things and we judge it and we weigh it by what's in the Torah, right? In the Tanakh, not just the Torah, but the Tanakh, right? And so we look at it, and that's why I'm trying to get a hold to the Aramaic version of that. Now I have the later version of the Aramaic, which I read all the time, but there's one that's even earlier than the one that I have, with the ancient text in Aramaic. So I want to get that one, and it's always good to have because you can always go back. Like I said, I find these different words that have changed, and then the translation is watered down a little bit. So again, next week we're gonna get back to our schedule, right? Our schedule. So, Uncle Beverly, good to see you.
Hi, Rabbi. Shalom. Good to see you guys.
Oh, let me stop this recording.
Yeah.
I got this.